Y'all, welcome to Late Night with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Holly.
And I'm your host, Bridget.
And y'all, tonight's episode is going to be ridiculous 911 calls. But before we get started, let me remind you, if you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you can be notified every Tuesday, every Friday when our new episodes drop at 11 p.m. right on the dot. Also, too, if you listen to podcasts, we are on any and every podcast you can think of from Apple, Spotify. If you don't see us, just email us at bridgetandholly@gmail.com and Bridget will make sure that we are on there. So, we thought we would do a funny little episode for you guys on ridiculous 911 calls because first of all, being where I work at, a lot of you have seen my videos of the ridiculous shit that people come in there wanting me to fix, and I have to send them to the ER that's right behind my store. So to start it off, Bridget, what kind of ridiculous calls to 911 did you come across?
I got several, but I will tell you that my nephew is a 911 operator, or has been.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
and I'll be honest with you, there's been several times that I have wanted. He's told me there's an opening and there's a job, and I've almost went to do it. But, because I stay up late at night, and he said that third shift is what they always need. It pays more, and there's always, tons and tons of activity late at night. But the thing that bothers me the most about 911 operators, but the reason they get like this is because of these dumb calls like this. But when somebody
Yeah.
calls in and they're screaming and it's really like, oh my God, something's happening, da, 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 and they're like, just calm down. Just
Yeah,
calm
ma'am.
down.
Sir. Sir. My mom, um, before she started working doing town clerk in our town when my dad was chief of police, she did 911.
Oh,
And yeah, and she did it for a while, but she had to quit because it mentally started messing with her because of you get your funny calls, but you get more bad calls with it, and she just couldn't do it. And my niece Courtney, she was gonna do the 911, and I was telling her out because she's like, I remember Nana done it, and all that. I said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna tell you, Courtney. I said, Nana did it, but she had to quit because emotionally it started just sending her into a depression. And my mama's a strong woman now,
hmm,
but it mentally it started messing with her, and she just had to quit with it because it was just so sad and so depressing.
yeah, it can be. I have no doubt that that's probably an
So
issue.
mad respect for your nephew
And
on
and
that because that's the mental
911,
challenge.
all 911 operators. So
Exactly.
I'll start us off with this person calls to tell them that the Taco Bell drive-through line was too long and they were needing to get out of there.
What? So
Yeah,
what
can
were
you
they
imagine?
wanting? Like the ambulance to come escort it, or the cops to escort these people out of the line, so you could order, as Mr. Ronnie says, chupalupa, or how is it he says it?
Yeah, Chupalupa.
Chupalupa.
Yep, that's what he says. He says, "Hey, this line's too long. I can't get my Chupalupa, and y'all need to come move these people." Yeah,
Oh
could
my
you
God.
imagine? Like, I don't know what possesses people to call 911 for some of this shit. I really don't.
Exactly. I mean, it's a drive-through. First come, first served. They take you by order. Ain't no cutting the line in a drive-through, honey. Sorry about
Nope.
your bad luck. Sorry about your bad luck. That's funny. This one is hilarious, but it's cute. It is a little lengthy because I wrote
That's
it down,
okay.
but as I'm saying it, it'll be shorter. So, okay, let me get to my page. Okay, so this is the operator. 911, what's your emergency? Little boy comes on the phone. Yeah, I need some help. Operator says, what's the matter? Little boy says, with my mouth. Operator says, with your mouth? No, little boy says, with my mouth. I have to do it. Will you help me? So 911 operator says, sure, where do you live? Little boy says, no, with my mouth. Operator says, yeah, I know. Where do you live, though? The boy said, no, I want you to talk to me on the phone. The operator goes, no, I can't do that. He said, but I can send someone out there to help you. And the little boy goes, okay. So the operator, he decides to say, well, what kind of math do you need help with? And the little boy says, well, I have to do takeaways. And the operator says, oh, yeah. And this is a man operator he's talking to, by the way. And he says, oh, you have to do takeaways? And the little boy said, yeah. And so the operator said, well, all right. He said, well, what's the problem? Little boy goes, you have to help me with my math. The operator goes, okay. He said, well, tell me what the math is. What's your problem? And the little boy goes, okay. He says, 16 take away 8 is what? And the operator goes, he said, well, you tell me, how much do you think it is? The little boy goes, I don't know one. Operator said, no, that's not it, but how old are you? Little boy says, I'm only 4. I'm 4. The operator says, 4? He said, yeah. And then the operator goes, okay. He said, well, what's another problem? He said, because that one was tough. Little boy goes, okay, here's one. What's 5 take away 5? Operator says, 5 take away 5. He said, what do you think that is? Little boy said, 5. Next thing you know, you hear this woman in the background and she says, Johnny, what do you think you're doing? And the little boy said, the policeman is helping me with my math. And the woman said, what did I tell you about being on the phone? And the operator said, oh, it's his mother. And the boy said, well, you said if I needed any help to call somebody. And his mama said, I didn't mean the police. And
Oh.
this was an actual recording. So as I was watching the recording, of course, everything was being typed up. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've got to write this phone call down. And I laughed so hard. I actually listened to it twice because it
Oh.
was just so cute. Because the little boy, just the way he sounded, but the end of it, when he was like, but you told me to call somebody if I needed help.
Oh my
But
God.
but do you know that 911 calls, like they actually, little kids like that, they really don't know that. Oh, sorry. They really don't know better. And they really encourage kids to call when they think there is a
Mm-hmm.
problem. So it will train them to, hey, 911, we're here for you, and we're going to help you with your problem. So they actually do encourage little kids to call and for the parents not to fuss at them for doing it.
Right. And that reminds me, like when I think I told you this story, but I'd always taught my kids, even at a very young age, 3 and 4, my actual name. I didn't just want them to always know it was mom. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? I wanted them to know my name was Bridget. At the time I was married to my first husband, Bridget Hastings. That's my name. Okay. And so I'll never forget, I used to tell Brandon, every time we go into Walmart, I said, now, if you get lost from me, if you ever get lost from me, go to that service desk and tell him to ask for Bridget Hastings. He was like, okay. I'll never forget one time I was going through clothes and I was shopping, and he got into the clothes rack and then went through the other side and ran off and ran straight up there to that customer service desk. And the next thing I know, I was sitting there looking for him and I heard, Bridget Hastings, please come to the service desk. He was
Ah,
and so I get up there and I was like, son, what are you doing? And they were all leaned over the desk looking at me. They said, he's so cute. And they said, but we just have to tell you, when we asked him how old he was, he said he told us he was 3.
oh my God. And he flipped him off. He gave him the bird.
He just held up one
Oh
finger. He
my
said,
God.
I'm
I'm
3.
3. Oh my God. That is too cute. But that,
Yeah.
y'all, what she's saying that you need to do that because my mom and daddy told me the same thing
Mm-hmm.
growing up. Like, we're mom and dad, but you need to know our names if you get in trouble or something happens and they're like, who are your parents? You need to know, Larry and Vera Ransom.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I bet a lot of people or a lot of parents, well, I don't know, but I don't know if a lot of parents think to still do that to this day, but that's
They
very, very
should.
smart. Yeah, it could save a lot of headaches and possibly save their lives.
Well, not only that, I used to have a song where I'd teach them our address. I won't say it on the podcast because I don't want everybody to know my address, but it was a
Right.
cute little catchy song. And when we're off the podcast, I will sing it to you. It's so
Make up
cute.
an address. Make up an address and sing it.
Okay. It was like 7851. Let's see, 7851 Crunchy Lane Drive. Hickory, North Carolina, 28601. It was like a cheer, You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd make them sing it like that, and we would sing, and they would sing their own address when they was only like 3 and 4 years old.
And that growing up, and it's so funny because growing up, we learn to remember our social security number, our home address, our telephone number, our parents' number, and also as you get older to always remember your driver's license number.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that they didn't teach JoJo in
Yeah.
school. They didn't teach them to remember your social security number and make sure if you get like a state ID or whatever has your number on it to remember it. And
Right.
I was just baffled by that because that's just like even, and I know this is off subject because we always do this on our podcast, but it's all right because that's us. But they took in cursive out of school,
Yeah.
and I don't understand that because everybody has a unique signature, and I feel like it's easier to copy someone's print than it is for their signature because if you see
Mm-hmm.
Jason's signature, it's fucking scribbles. It's like your name is Jason Kazaza, but I don't really see them letters in it, but it's his special
So yeah.
signature.
Yeah.
And I think schools are so stupid for doing that because I think everybody needs to learn to write
Mm-hmm.
in cursive because that is your special signature.
I do too, and I'll never forget in school they used to tell us you better learn to write in cursive because when you get older, everybody does, and if you can't read it and write it, then you're in trouble. Well, little did they know, in 20 more years we wasn't going to be writing it anymore.
Yeah. Now, Sissy is the youngest, so she's the baby. Did she learn to write in cursive in
Mm-hmm.
school? Or had
Yeah.
that and taken it out by then? Because you remember getting those tablets that had those little dots that you
Mm-hmm.
could write on and
Mm-hmm.
everything to practice with. Because I've tried to teach Joanna a little bit of writing in cursive, and she does pretty good at reading my writing. But there's some things, she'll have a little trouble with because they don't learn it. But
That's a
it's
shame.
crazy. It is. It's a
Yeah, it
shame.
is. Okay, so back to the podcast. Sorry, y'all. Um, so parents, these parents called 911 to ask if they could have a police officer come out to scare their 12-year-old son who was back talking.
Oh my God. That is a waste of our taxpayers' dollars on that one.
Yep,
Now, if he had
that's what
stole something, I could see like taking
I.
him to the police
Yeah, I was
station.
going to say taking him, but not
Yeah,
calling
but
911 for it.
no. Don't
Mm-mm,
waste their fucking gas on that.
mm-mm.
Bye. This one I about filled out. This guy, he calls from a payphone to complain that he has a pipe wrench stuck up his butt and he needed an ambulance. So he gave the location of where he was at, which is with the payphone, and the operator asked him to describe his appearances so that way the medics could find him and respond to his call. So he was like, describe what you look like. He said, look, the guy goes, look, dude. He said, I'll be the only guy on the corner with a pipe wrench in his ass. Like, oh my God.
Oh, my Lord. That's craziness. Okay, so an Uber driver called upset that after 10 minutes, his customer, was not coming to the vehicle. So he called 911
Uh,
because he was angry about that.
oh, I thought there was going to be more. That was
Mm-mm.
it. He was
That's
just
it.
angry.
Yep.
Oh my God. People, what are you doing?
I have no
What are you
idea.
doing? Sorry, I had a little coughing attack right there. Okay, here's one. This girl calls 911. Her and her boyfriend are stuck together. Operator says, what do you mean you're stuck together? Girl says, oh God, this is so embarrassing. She said, well, we're in the middle of having sex. She said, and I can't move without him screaming. And the operator said, is he hurt, ma'am? Has he broke something? Like, what's going on? Why is he screaming? She said, because he got his penis pierced and now I'm stuck to it.
That might be a legitimate call, though.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you what's funny though. there was an episode of Grey's Anatomy with this scenario, and it had to do with this. It was an older couple. They were probably like in their 50s, and they're well known. They were a well known actor and actress too, which made it even funnier. But they had been rushed to the hospital, and they were stuck together, and they didn't know why, and they done scans and all that, and she would just move a little bit and he'd start screaming. Well, they had got divorced and she had remarried,
Hmm.
but they still saw each other on the side and would still have sex. And so their daughter comes bursting through the ER door while they're back there, and she's just like, "Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me?" And he had got his penis pierced, the tip of it, and they got stuck together. And she was like, "This is my karma for cheating on my husband," and da 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 da. Because they didn't do good together, but they did good
In bed.
separate, and they
Hmm.
still had like really good sex. But I'm wondering how old this cow is, and is that how the Grey's Anatomy episode came about, or vice versa?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, I know I've heard of men calling 911. This is not one of mine, but I've heard them for calling 911 for getting their penis stuck in a like the swimming pool pump. They would put it
Oh
in a
my.
swimming pool pump and have to call, and they've even had to drain the entire pool just to get the firefighters to knock out the wall to help to get it out.
Like, if you want suction, just find you a woman who has got good suction, or use a vacuum cleaner. I mean, you probably still have to call 911 with the vacuum cleaner, but
You would.
there are adult toys now. Back in the day, they probably didn't make them suction toys like they got now. But now, don't do that. Go to your local nearest adult store or wherever online, and get you a suction toy. Quit sticking your
And
tallywhacker.
y'all don't listen to her. Don't go. Don't do using a vacuum because you'll be calling 911 for
Yeah,
that
that
too.
that that's true too. Do
Yeah.
you remember? Were you ever the girl? I was not, but I had a friend that did it. But were you ever the girl who took the vacuum cleaner to get a hickey on her neck?
No.
One of my friends did that because she wanted to be popular in school. And all her little friends, not me, but a lot of her other friends would come to school and they'd be like, "Oh my God, look. Oh my God, I got a hickey from my boyfriend." No one, first of all, beat you 12. Back then, kids weren't that experimental, and you took the vacuum hose and done it yourself. And she would do it. She would keep it there. When it started going away, she'd put it there. She ended up getting like blood vessels that were busting, and it ended up leaving a permanent mark on her neck.
My dad always used to like down talk that. Like I always now this was just my opinion at that age because it was what I taught. We're a product of what we're taught. So I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm saying he
Right.
always taught me that girls who that they're trashy.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
that that's
I've
just so
always heard that.
trashy. Don't do that. That's trashy. He said you don't need
Hmm.
to. He said you don't need a billboard advertisement every time you're intimate with your significant
No,
other. You know what I'm
you
saying? He
don't.
said you're just advertising that. So
Yes.
it was
Now,
just looked
I'm
down
not
on.
not gonna lie and not say I've never had one,
Oh,
but
I've
it's
had one.
never been purposely put there. And if I've seen it,
Right.
I'm like, "Oh my God," and I quickly cover it up. But
I
I
covered up
have.
makeup.
Yes, I'm not the girl that's like, "Hey, well, you know what I did last night? Look at that, yeah, girl."
No,
No,
me neither.
no, I couldn't. But that's so funny because me and you, the age gap is 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
but that was distilled in our brain. That's what we were taught, both of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Exactly.
So y'all don't get offended. We're not saying if you like that, that's not what we're calling you,
Yeah,
but
because we both
that's
had
just what
them. We
we
it's
grew
our
up.
parents. Yeah, our parents. Okay, so this
Yeah.
someone called 911 because they needed help deleting a voicemail from their phone. They didn't know how
Was
to
it
do
a
it. They called
old
911 to
person?
help them.
Was it
Probably.
a God, deleting a voicemail?
Yeah. So 911 operator, can I help you? Yeah, I just need to delete this voicemail on my phone. I don't know how to do it.
There's a little trash can right beside the voice memo that you hit and boop. Or now these days you just swipe, delete.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
god, that's funny. That's funny. You know, I got a little story before I read my next one about a 911 call that I did. It was actually recent. It was probably about a couple of months ago. I had just come home and I'd been running errands and I was grocery shopping and all that. And I came into the house and girl, when I tell you my jaw dropped, it dropped. I'm walking in the door and I got like 11,100,000 grocery bags in my arms. And I get to the kitchen and I just drop all the bags because the trash can had not been dumped.
Oh,
Jason had it over. He had it overflowing. And I called 911 and I was like, look, I was like, you got to do something. You got to send like a paramedic over here or something, because I'm about to go back there and start showing raising Cain and hell with my husband, and he's probably gonna end up, with a broke foot or broke leg or something, because he ain't took out this damn trash. They just told
bless
me to
him.
do what I had to do because he deserved it. So I was
Oh,
like,
I bet you they
okay.
did. I bet you they
um,
did.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is I actually got two more. So my next one is this. This one I thought was so funny. This lady, this lady called in because she thought Willie Nelson was having a heart attack in her trailer, and she needed an ambulance. So the operator started giving her CPR instructions, and when the paramedics got there, she was doing compressions on a fucking couch cushion because she was high as hell.
Oh my God.
Like, bitch, you was listening to Willie and got so high that you started fantasizing about that motherfucker and thought he was sitting on your couch in your trailer.
Oh my God. People are crazy,
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
they are.
Okay, so this caller calls in and says that their kitchen flooded and they needed help from 911. 911 operator said they advised him to contact his insurance company and a plumber. The caller didn't appreciate that answer, so they hung up and called 911 again with the same question.
Just wanted a different operator to get a different answer.
Yeah.
What did they say?
Just kept telling him he was going to have to call his insurance and a plumber, that they couldn't come out and help him.
Oh my God! Why would you call if now I could see if your house was flooded and you were about to drown and the water kept going
Yeah.
up, but
Yeah.
just because you had a flood, honey.
Yeah.
No, call the plumber that shows his butt crack. Get
That's
him
right.
over there and get him to plug his crack, and then
Mm-hmm.
plug your busted pipe.
That's it.
God, um, okay, this is my last one that I got, and I thought this this was so fucking funny. This man calls 911 because his dog stole his bag of Cheetos, and the dog wouldn't let him get him back, and he kept growling at him. So the operator said, "Sir, has the dog bit you?" Man said, "No, no." He said, "Well, are you hurt?" "Well, no, no." "Is this dog foaming at the mouth? Like, do you think he might have rabies or something? And maybe you should call animal control." He's like, "No." He's like, "I'm not hurt." He said, "He just won't give me back my bag of Cheetos." He said, and he does this every time I open the bag. And the operator said, "Well, sir, don't eat Cheetos around your dog then.
That is, oh my God. What
It's
the hell's
your
wrong with
dog."
people?
Yeah, like, if your dog does that, first of all, honey, you ain't got your dog trained, okay? Because I'll be damned if my dog is going to take my Max barbecue skins that I'm addicted to
Yeah,
and me not get them back. No, your dog is dominant over you, boo boo. Mm-hmm.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you shouldn't have that. I don't know if it's my turn. I'll just go on my last
It's your
one.
turn.
Um, a customer called 911 because the store refused to accept the return of already worn winter boots.
You.
The, the store wouldn't take their return back, so they called the 911.
Oh my God. And they were the ones that wore them.
Yeah, yep.
Oh my God. What in the world?
People are so
And
dumb.
even, and even then, You wouldn't even call 911. That would be a police situation, hypothetically. But why would you call, like, oh my God. That's a court case thing. Like, I'm going to take you to small claims court and get my money back for my used snow boots. But 911, I could see paramedics coming flying down the street for some shit like that.
Take these. I know this one that was, I can't remember all the details of it, but it was an actual 911 call. And this guy, and he calls and he says, yes, ma'am, I need help. My wife's hurt, and we're over here on Sycamore Street. And the lady said, what street? He said, Sycamore Street. She said, spell that for me. And he sat there and waited for a minute. He said, um, I'll just pull her over to Harry Lane.
Oh, I've heard that
Have you heard it?
before. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a question though.
Yeah.
Um, Out of your entire life, have you ever had to make a scary 911 call yourself? Like, is there been like a scary moment where you had to call 911?
Mm, the only time I called 911 was Ronnie one time was having an anxiety panic attack and he thought he was having a heart attack. But I wasn't scared. I was real calm during that because I don't know. I kept my cool. I wasn't scared. But oh yes, and one time we called 911 because Brittany was really bad for getting bronchitis. She gets it every winter. You can count it like
Oh,
clockwork. And she woke up and couldn't breathe, and she was turning blue and she
oh
couldn't
my
breathe.
God.
And when I was on the phone with the 911 operator, they said get her to a hot shower, steamy shower, and then take her outside. And so she was in the hot steamy shower and we took her outside. By the time the 911 that by the time the paramedics got here, she was opening up, but she had turned completely blue.
Jesus Christ. You would
Mhm.
think something like that would give her pneumonia, getting her in a hot shower and going out into cold air, but that opened it up. Now, did she end up going to the hospital?
They observed her for a little while and that she seemed fine, and they told us that she probably needed to get some breathing treatments that she could go to a regular family
Oh,
doctor for. I think they went ahead and gave her one breathing treatment before they left, and they stayed with her a little while. But they can't stay forever. So, but she was fine
exactly.
enough that she didn't need to be taken by ambulance. So we did make an appointment with her that day at the doctor, and they did give her some
How
medicine.
old was she when that happened?
Probably about 6 or 7.
And still to this day, she still gets it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Every
now
year.
next question. Have you ever had to have the ambulance called for you for anything?
No.
No. I've
Mm-mm.
had the ambulance been called for me once,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a situation like Mr. Ronnie's. This was back in the day when I was hot and heavy into Sims playing on the computer, and I was at my computer desk. And I was not stressed. I was not worried, like nothing. And I was sitting there and I'm like this and this hand's using the mouse. And I'm like, my heart just starts racing. And my mom's at work. And I don't remember, yeah, I was home alone. I was home alone. So I called my mom, I'm panicking, screaming, or not screaming, but crying. And she got her and a good family friend of ours, Cindy, was out there with my mom at her work. And they came down here, but they called 911 on the way. So they all got here together. And so they checked me out and everything. They said it was an anxiety attack. They stayed with me for a little bit and asking me the questions like, was your chest tight and all this and that. And I thought it was so weird. And then I've had to call the ambulance twice. My scariest one that I did was for my mama, and
Mm.
that was the final night that she left this house, and I knew she wasn't coming back home. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew she knew that too, because my mom smoked, and Vince and Mr. David that were working um on the rescue squad, they had came, family friends too, known for years. And she just felt weak and stuff like that and everything. And when they got her to the door, they were walking her out to put her in the stretcher and stuff. And I remember Vince had told her, he was like, you need to put those, the cigarettes down and stuff or whatever. And, or that she didn't need to be, smoking anymore. And she said, nope. She said, I'm done smoking. She said, that's my last one. And she just gave me this look. And the look was, it's my last one, but I don't think I'm coming back home. And
Mm-hmm.
then my next one was Jason had felt weird. And I don't know what made me check his sugar, but I checked the sugar and it was like 489.
Ooh.
And he just felt really, really bad. And we called them down here and they monitored him and stuff and told him to take some extra insulin until we could call the doctor in the morning and stuff. And it started going down. It finally got down to like two something, which is still elevated. But those were my scariest moments that I can think of, and the one that was called on me too. And I think that's it. I think that's
Those are
pretty
still,
much
like I
it.
said, they are scary. I will tell you a story with Brittany with the bronchitis. We used to bring her toddler bed in here and lay it beside our bed and let her
Uh
sleep
huh.
in our room because we could keep an eye on her, pay attention to her breathing
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
smart.
Well, I tend to always keep the house very cold. Everybody will tell you when you come here, my house is freezing.
My same
And
with my sister's house, and apparently mine now too.
yeah, so anyhow, they'll tell you it's freezing. Everybody does. So one night she was asleep in the toddler bed. She was on Mr. Ronnie's side of the bed asleep. She was asleep on the toddler bed,
Oh,
and we woke up the next morning. It's time for school, and Ronnie, I guess I don't know. I was asleep, half asleep. He had said, "Brittany, Brittany," and she didn't wake up. And he reached over to touch her, and she was ice cold.
oh, poor Mr. Ronnie.
And he sat straight up. He said, Bridge, she's dead. She's dead." And
Oh
she
God.
comes set up in that bed and she goes, oh God, I am. And I started
Oh
laughing.
my God.
And he said, "Brittany, why didn't you answer me?" And she said, "Because I was asleep." And he said, "You scared me." And she said, "You scared me
Oh God. She just popped up and said, I am.
too." Yes.
Oh my God.
And she was like,
Oh,
she was like patting herself like in a panic.
oh my God. When's the last time you've told her that story?
Oh, she knows it. She knows it well, and she remembers it. But
She
we,
does.
yeah, she remembers. Yeah, because I would say then she was probably about 7 or 8 years old then too.
Now, did
Yeah,
that scare you at first? Like when he done it, were you like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
at that time, did you think she was until she popped up?
No,
Or,
because the minute I set up, she set up. You know what I'm
oh,
saying?
so
So
y'all
I
said,
knew.
okay. So
But
you
I
didn't
will
really
tell
have too
you,
much trouble worrying.
no, but I will tell you that it went from extreme panic to extreme relief in a split second. You know what I'm saying? When I see
And
this,
probably laughter afterwards.
but I could tell the way he set up. You know, I could picture him calling out to her and her not doing it, and him feeling her, and with her covers thrown off of her or something. I bet she was ice cold. I bet she was just like an ice cube, and that would
I
scare
bet
the
she
hell out of
was.
you. You know.
Well, yeah, because that's just what you think. Like when you feel somebody cold to the touch, you ain't really thinking, oh, it's cold in here. You just like, especially with what's going on with her in the episode she had.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
That is so funny. Yeah, I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode that we did. It's been hilarious. We you know us, we love just randomly just choosing stuff and making y'all laugh and just seeing what other people go through, like their crazy experiences along with our crazy
Mm-hmm.
experience. But y'all again make sure like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget that we're on podcast out there. If you don't see us again, let us know. Bridget and Holly at gmail.com, and she'll make it happen. And until the next episode, y'all sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
And don't call 911 unless it's really an emergency. Bye,
Yes.
y'all.
Bye.